Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for the main event as The Rock presents Caesars NFL Head Coach Fight Club.
And now we make our way to the AFC East. All right. Bring up these graphics. That is right. Look at these beautiful men. Do you know who you have on your left-hand side? Because I sure don't. Who is that QB? Kate Klubnik?
Yeah.
Is that it? Because I knew it was.
I've never heard that name in my life until today, but that is who that is.
That is former Clemson QB, the backup quarterback for the Jets. There's Aaron Glenn as head coach. And then Mike Vrabel, you dirty dog, you. You dirty Diana loving man. And Tommy DeVito. Oh, Tommy Cutlass has joined the Patriots, and the bit only goes stronger. Maybe in Boston, they have Italians there, right? I mean, there's Irish, there's Italians.
Probably not as large of an Italian population by percentage as New York might be, but
You know what? It's like The Departed. You know, you still got them.
Not as much as Jersey.
No, for sure. No, for sure. All right. Well, here we go. Let's get things rolling. Let's get the ball rolling on this one because I feel like this one is going to be pretty one-sided. But who am I to say? I mean, Aaron Glenn won this division last year. If memory serves correct,
yeah,
he won.
Yeah, he won the AFC East Royal Rumble or whatever.
That is right. All right, Patrick, as you did with the first one, you'll do with the second one. Lead things off here, will you?
Yeah, no problem. So I think the advantage the Jets have here is that checking notes, Cade Klubnik is so generic that he can just kind of hide out, and Vrabel and DeVito don't know where he is. Like you could put 1,000 guys in front of him, you could put 3 guys in front of him, they wouldn't know, they wouldn't be able to find. Checks notes again. Cade Klubnik. So Vrabel and Glenn have a pretty fair, kind of like almost like a heavyweight fight, but like one where they both really respect each other, so they're like kind of taking swings, but nobody's really trying that hard. Tommy DeVito is just running around spewing generic Italian Americanisms, gabagool, madone, all that nonsense. And Vrabel in the middle of this kind of like taking turns fight with Glenn starts looking around. He's like, what happened to Tommy? Where's Tommy? And oops, he's nowhere to be found. He's just gone. And Vrabel's like, all right, well, I better do something about this. So he starts to press on Aaron Glenn a bit. And he's like, all right, sorry, old man. I gotta take you down. Someone's got to win this, so it might as well be me. And then all of a sudden, DeVito's corpse just kind of falls from the sky in between the two of them.
His corpse.
And taped to his chest is a picture of checks notes. Cade Klubnik hanging out with Diana Rossini, and Vrabel falls to his knees and just starts yelling, "No, no!" At which point, Aaron Glenn just starts laughing, and out of mercy, gets behind Vrabel, slits his throat, and it ends there.
Wow. Let's talk about my scenario, shall we? All right. So it's game day. All right. Going towards the last game of the year, or one of the last matchup between these two. Patriots are running away with the division, and the Jets. They're what they always are. They're bottom dwellers. This hasn't changed. Nothing has changed. And so you look in one locker room, and this is before the both sides come out of the locker room. All right. Vrabel's looking for Tommy. He can't find Tommy anywhere. It's a cold day in New England, but the heat's been on Mike Vrabel. All right. Dirty Diana, the pressure from the Super Bowl loss, where the team just didn't look ready to play. It's been weighing on this man's head for a long time. And we're not talking about the one that was being fiddled around with by Diana Rossini. We're talking about the noggin there. There's not a lot going on up there these days. CTE's been rotting away. The horn dog that is Mike Vrabel just can't seem to think. He's just been lucky that his team's been really, really good. Now he's looking for Tommy because he's like, you know what? I need to rest my stars. I need to get Tommy ready. Suddenly, an alert breaks on Mike Vrabel's phone. It's a TMZ alert. He's like, no. He just tosses his phone. Fuck! Camera pans at the phone. TMZ says the baby really is Mike Vrabel's. He can't. He wants to know who the fuck this reporter was that broke the story. It couldn't have been Diana. She'd never portray him like this. He's looking for Tommy. Tommy! One of his players is like, Tommy's in there. He walks in, and in this room is a single table with one light hanging right above, and all you see is some cigarette smoke and some Andrea Bocelli playing in the background. And from the shadows peers his head. It's Tommy DeVito, and he's like, you come to me on the day of my one start of the year, asking for a favor. What can I do you for, coach? Mike Vrabel slaps this shit out of Tommy. He's like, okay, there. What? He's like, stop pretending to be a mafia boss and go talk to your actual people who are in the mafia, find who the reporter is, and get it taken care of. That's me trying to do like a Boston accent. I know Mike Vrabel's from Ohio, but whatever. He's been there for long enough. And Tommy's like, capiche. Does a phone call. He walks out onto the field, and then that's when he bumps into some guy he's never seen before. Kate Klubnik. He's like, who the fuck are you? Fucking jag off. Kate Klubnik's like, okay. Swings his helmet right at Tommy Cutlets. Tommy Cutlets barely dodges, like, oh, shit. Ma, I got to get off the phone with you. Save me some cutlets. I'll be back by 11. Hangs up the phone, click, takes his chain, wraps it around his fist. He's like, all right, let's get at this. And then just pop, pop. You see both men just immediately swinging. Kate Klubnik. Nobody knows who this guy is. They just knew that he sucked at Clemson and somehow got into the league. But man, can this dude just dodge punches? What seems at an incredibly high rate. All right. He's almost moving at superhuman speeds. Tommy is like, fuck, nothing I do. He's trying to dodge punches, but he's taking more and more than he's throwing. He has no idea what's happening. And then you got Aaron Glenn running. He's like, what's happening? He's trying to break the fight up. And then here comes Mike Vrabel, who looked at him and he's like, what the fuck are you doing? What's your guy? He's like, get a hold of your guy. What are you? See, this is why you fucking suck, Glenn. This is why you ain't amount to shit as a coach. Aaron Glenn's like, we watch your mouth before Diana kisses mine. Oh! And that's when sparks really start flying, Patrick, because Vrabel is incensed. And he goes to charge at him. But he's not as light on his feet as he used to be. Aaron just easily gets around him. He knows that he can't engage directly with the bigger man. But Aaron Glenn got that dog in him. All right. So he goes for the solar plexus. He goes for the eyes, for the nose. He's grabbing the ear. Mike Vrabel's like, oh, just all disoriented. This man went into a fight seeing red, but he did not anticipate that his opponent would be clear of mind. And so he is just schooling him. Sure, Vrabel gets a couple of devastating big hits in. He boom, boom. But Aaron Glenn, what he lacks in power, he makes up for in speed and in volume of hits that he is connecting. All right. Now, we go back. What's happening with Cade Klubnik and Tommy DeVito? DeVito's getting choked out by the very chain that he was trying to wield as a weapon. And it's like, oh, Cade Klubnik not saying a thing. It's very silent assassin type. It's like, oh, yeah. Yeah. That's it. That's it. It's done. It's done. It's done. The life of Tommy DeVito is flashing before his eyes. And the last thing that he can think about is his mom's cutlets. As what appears to be blood, but is actually marinara sauce. Coughs up out of his mouth. He's out. He is out. Well, what happened there? How was Tommy Cutlets? How was Tommy Cutlets just defeated so easily? Well, I'll tell you how. But first, let's finish off what's going on with Aaron Glenn and Mike Vrabel. Now, somehow somebody gets on the screen, and it's a poorly made AI video of Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel holding a baby, and the baby has Mike Vrabel's face on it, saying "Goo goo gaga go Patriots." Mike Vrabel's like, "It's not my kid. It's not my kid. It's not my kid. I can't. No." And that's when Aaron Glenn, knockout blow, sharp elbow right to the back of the skull, stomps him on the head just for good measure. And he looks at Cade and he's like, good work, kid. And now we rewind. Because how did this all happen, Patrick? Well, because nobody really recognizes Cade Klubnik, he disguised himself as a janitor early on and snuck up into the booth where they control what happens on the screen. He slips the guy a couple of $1,000 and he's like, I want you to play this around this time. If you see Mike Vrabel losing his mind out in midfield, you play this video immediately. And then what else does he do? He disguises himself as the equipment room attendant for the Patriots. You see, Patrick, he blends in so well. His generic face allows him to just be in the shadows. Even when Tommy Cutlets was in that room, that was practically all shadows. Because you see, Tommy Cutlets had his pregame drink at Cade Klubnik. It spiked with a little bit of something that really slowed down his reaction time. And that, sir, is how he pulled off one of the more perfect crimes on Head Coach Fight Club. That's right, the Jets and Aaron Glenn win the AFC East yet again. Yes, Jeff Hapley and Quinn Ewers against, oh my God, you said Kyle Allen?
I think so, right?
Kyle Allen and Sean McDermott. All right. Well,
look again. That's such a generic looking picture that could literally be any man. So
yes, and then Sean McDermott. That's not the photo I'm used to seeing of Sean McDermott.
Well, that's because Sean McDermott is not their coach anymore.
Oh wait, you're right. Sorry. I don't know why I thought you said Sean McDermott and why.
No,
that reminded me of Sean McDermott. Joe Brady. Joe Brady. It's a new. You have two new participants in the Fight Club.
I know. I had to add them today to the all-time standings at 0-0.
Oh well, someone's going to be tied for one of the worst records of all time, and the other one for
They'll
the
be
best.
tied with
Win percentage.
Gerard
Sorry.
Mayo, Josh McDaniels, and Liam Cohen at 0-1.
Oh yeah, the who could forget the head coach rumble that we did and said. I mean, I can forget because it feels like so long ago.
Yeah, well,
All right,
what do you think? Who should handle this
God,
first?
you know, none of this is this matchup has to be one of the least inspiring ones that I can imagine. So
they all look very generic.
yes, but you know what? Quinn Ewers is your guy. You're a big Quinn Ewers guy. I'll let you go first. That's your guy. That's your guy.
I like him enough. That's fine. Yeah, so I don't think that this is going to be the most intense or insane fight that we've ever had here. I think it's just going to be straight up fisticuffs. They might even fight like this with like the old timey Irish guy boxer. That's kind of how I assume all of these guys talk, sound, behave, except Quinn does it with a southern accent. But I think what really ends up happening here is we get two boxing matches. The coaches are pretty split. Neither one's really trying that hard because they're like, this is my first year in the NFL. Why am I just fighting people? And then Quinn Ewers starts off pretty strong, but he suddenly starts to realize something about Kyle Allen, and as he's hitting him, and Kyle's skin just starts like kind of coming off and revealing a skeleton type robot, a robo skeleton. He's a cyborg in a human suit. He's an android. He's an android.
Oh my God.
And the Kyle Allen android just cocks back, one punch. Ewers is done. Walks over, pushes his coach out of the way, which throws him like 30 yards, and then just one punches Jeff Halfley, and the Dolphins are done.
Kyle Allen being a fucking android's crazy, because you would think they could engineer an android who could actually complete a pass.
Well, he's got to be, if he was all powerful, you'd start to suspect.
Maybe, they do call some of these QBs machines. All right. I might be giving this one a longer scenario than it deserves. 100%, way longer than it deserves.
Fine. We got the time.
So here's how I imagine this going. So you got Joe Brady, you got Jeff Hapley. Now they're both just kind of happy to have head coaching gigs. Neither one really deserved one, especially Jeff Hapley, right? Like he has no business coaching or being the head coach of an NFL football team. It just didn't go well in Boston College. It's not, nothing impressive about his resume. You look at Quinn Ewers, and I had the unfortunate displeasure of seeing him at Dell's one time when he had the ugliest haircut you could possibly ever have as a starting high school quarterback for South Lake Carroll, which it feels like it tracks. And then on the other side, you're like, you have Kyle Allen, yeah. You just have a guy.
You gotta check every time. You're like, I guess it's Kyle Allen.
yeah, you gotta check. I'm like, are you sure you don't mean Josh Allen? But yeah, you have the Allen that nobody wants to see playing Buffalo, and Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator who apparently could do no wrong, that Sean McDermott had to get ousted, right? So you have these two happy-go-lucky guys meeting in the center of the field. They're like, hey man, listen, it's the end of the season. Dolphins, you guys, you're not going anywhere. We just eked out a playoff spot here in Buffalo ourselves. Why don't we just throw in the backups and just call it a day? And Happy's like, well, I'm just happy to be here. Quinn, I didn't think it could get bad. It could get worse than Tua. I've seen the Tua's take, but it did, and somehow got worse. He throws the ball farther, that's for sure. It doesn't hit his mark ever. So yeah, well, let's go in there. And the next thing you know, you see something in the sky. In the sky, just coming down into the stadium. You're like, what the hell is that? Is that a meteorite? Is that a meteor? What's coming down? No, it's a Tomahawk missile. There is a Tomahawk missile coming down, and it lands on the Dolphins' side of the field. Turns out the person launching the missile had hoped that it would hit the Bills' side. And you're like, well, who is this? Well, the camera pans to a gentleman in an attack helicopter. Where did he get this? You'll find out soon enough. But it's Sean McDermott, who went to go take his revenge on the Buffalo Bills. All right. A praiser of the Taliban, if I'm not mistaken. And he, in his time away from the team, decided to go and join the Taliban, commandeer some of their weaponry, and decided to go to the new Buffalo Bills stadium to leave his mark forever. Unfortunately, instead of killing Joe Brady and anybody else associated with the team, he accidentally took out Hapley and the Dolphins. And Joe Brady, you win by default. Not a single punch was thrown here. This is the saddest way to win a fight that I can remember. And you don't deserve this, Joe Brady. And may luck be on your side in the next round, because you advance.
Nice. Sorry, I was just making a note to tell Bethke we're gonna need a tiebreaker.
Wait, did you pick Hapley?
Yeah.
Oh my God! See, this is how these guys are.
No, wait. You were right. You're right. I did pick Joe Brady. Because of Kyle Allen. I'm an idiot.
See, this is how little of consequence this particular matchup was. There's nothing interesting here.
Well, I at least made Kyle Allen a cyborg or an android, so we could at least have some fun.
Now let's get over to the AFC West. We had Broncos, Raiders. All right, you have Sean Payton. Why did he looks like a ghoul? Right?
Yeah, he's one of the least human looking NFL coaches
that I could remember in quite some time.
It's kind of like almost turning into like a version of like the Emperor from Star Wars.
Yes, that is 100% what that looks like.
Not quite as bad as this, but wrong one. Sorry, but still, yeah, he's got that Ian McDermott hooded,
and then you have
man.
Then you have Clint Kubiak on the other side. In that image, he kind of looks like his dad, Gary Kubiak, a little bit. You kind of get the resemblance. I don't know if you remember what Gary Kubiak looked like. I kind of do. Football sicko days. What can I say?
It's been a while since I thought about Gary Kubiak.
And it's been a while since I last saw you.
Yeah.
What is Sean Payton's record in this?
All-time standings show me Sean Payton.
There you go.
0-3. 0-3.
Will things change for you, Sean? We're about to find out. And then, did you say Jarrett Stidham? I thought you were going to pick Sam Ehlinger for some reason.
When I looked at it today, it was Stidham. So,
all right. Well, we're going to go with Stidham.
I don't know if things have updated. Oh no, I think it's always been Stidham over Ehlinger.
We do have a little bit of flexibility with that backup spot, but it's fine. It's fine. You don't want to put too much Longhorn bias into this.
I don't need to be killing off every former Longhorn quarterback
that didn't bring you a national title. Anyway, all right. Let's have you kick this one off as you did the last one. We'll keep that order going.
All right. I mean, it's hard to even find a solution if I was trying to give Sean Payton a win here. I imagine Jarrett Stidham has to like walk up to him and be like, hey coach, we got that fight today. And Sean Payton's just like, I don't know, sundowning in the corner. And so then Clint Kubiak and Fernando Mendoza, they're young, they're spry. They come in ready to go, and Jared Stidham's like, "Hey guys, he's clearly like not with us right now. Maybe we could try this again another time when he's more lucid." And they kind of make a few jokes and turn to walk away, and that's when Sean Payton rises off the ground, and shoots lightning bolts out of his hands into the backs of Clint Kubiak and Fernando Mendoza as they scream and writhe in pain. And Jared Stidham has to beg him to stop. And he's like, "Coach, not again, not again." and so Peyton stops and, cackling, says, "We'll see you in the next life." And then I guess Sean Payton wins because I thought that would be funnier.
All right. Interesting. All right, this is where I'm gonna go. So it's the end of a game. It's in the end. It's the end of one of those Monday Night Football games. You know where they put the AFC West in this weird doubleheader. And the Broncos win because they are just a better team than the Raiders. Clint Kubiak just looks at Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins has his chain, and he's doing one of these. He's like, "Kirko chains. Golly gosh, you like that? You like that?" And he's just like, "Oh, Fernando, you're starting the next game. I just want you to know that." Because the Raiders lost by quite a bit. But the CTE demons are starting to get into the mind of Kirk Cousins. Speaking of demons, it's nighttime. All right, they're at Mile High. And it's the end of the game. Clint Kubiak, this is his first team or first game there as a head coach. And he just wants to soak it in, right? Because his dad's stomping grounds are there. He used to be an offensive coordinator for Kyle Shanahan back in the day. Did I say Kyle Shanahan?
You did.
God damn it. Mike Shanahan. Sorry. He used to be the offensive coordinator for Mike Shanahan back in the day, And he's like, man, this is where my dad got his start. It's an OC.
He also played there. Do you know he played there for 9 years?
Who, the Kubiak?
Yeah. 83 to 91.
Was he an offensive lineman?
Quarterback, but I'm guessing he just backed up
Elway.
on Elway a bunch. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, there you go. And he's like, "Well, this is where my dad, there's so much history here. My family got their start here. Shame we couldn't get a win." Fernando Mendoza comes up. He's like, Coach, this is where God wants us to be right now. This is exactly. Let me read you my Bible passage. And he's like, Clint's just like, stop. Just get back into the locker room, please. You're starting next week, okay? All right. It's like, Coach, please. I'm scared of living in Sin City. There's just too much temptation everywhere. And he's like, please, just go. I need a moment. Can I have a moment? Like, all right, Coach. I'll go. And there he goes and scurries off. And then the lights cut out. Right? Lights cut out. And thunder and lightning just start to just kind of generate in the sky. And as a big bolt of lightning hits the sky, there's a flash, and you see something behind Clint Kubiak. It's Sean Payton with a ghoulishly vile grin on his face. And he's like, you like that? And he turns around like, "Kirk, is that you?" "No, idiot." And then you see Sean Payton smoking a doobie. Matter of fact, he has a bong. He's like, "Oh, you fucking idiot. It's me. Oh, you like that? The electricity here fucking sucks." Oh. He's like, right. "And you know what else sucks? You're not going to make it out of the stadium alive." And he's like, "What?" And gargoyle wings spread from the back of Sean Payton. The bong drops onto the ground, and he calls upon his backup quarterback, Jared Stidham. He's like, "Jared, Give me your blood. Like, what? Give it to me. And he took a chunk out of Jared Stidham's out of his arm, and it's just like feeding on him. And you see this demonic form start to take place with where Sean Payton's body used to be. And Sean Payton has turned into a demon. And then he starts swinging wildly at Clint. Clint is running for his life, but it's dark as hell and he can't really see anything. And so he dodges, rolls, and then he sees Jared Stidham holding his arms like, oh shit, that hurt. Oh, fuck. And he's like, all right, and he makes a beeline straight towards Jared Stidham. Sean Payton, just like a mad demon, chasing right after him. Clint Kubiak gets behind Jared and throws him. I say throw. He shoves, all right, as hard as he can into Sean Payton's way. Jared Stidham just flies into the air. His left arm severed. Congratulations, Sam Ellinger. If you make it past, if Sean Payton makes it past this, you might be the backup QB. Yeah, who knows? And then, Sean Payton's like, you're going to need more than that. It's like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this, Sean? And he's just like, how do you think I get all these wins? How do you think I get away with all this shit? Sacrifices need to be made, Clint. I will consume your soul. And then you hear some chanting. You hear some praying. And you see the thickest Bible you've ever seen. And here comes Fernando Mendoza. Coach, I'll save you. And he starts reading Leviticus. And I don't know any passages from Leviticus, and I don't. Okay.
Oh my god.
But it just starts reading some shit. And he just starts throwing water at Sean Payton. He's like, I bless this myself. Don't you worry, coach. It's holy water. And lo and behold, it is starting to work. Sean Payton is going, oh my God, oh no. And Sean Payton is like, oh God, what? And he's like, wait, did I say God? My bad. I don't believe in that guy. I'm Sean Payton. I'm the fucking devil. And then he goes and starts charging at Fernando Mendoza. And Fernando Mendoza just keeps reading something. And then somebody who pulled the prank on him, Max Crosby, before he left. Wait, no. Max Crosby got traded away, right?
No, not yet. Not unless it happened in the last 6 hours.
That's right. That trade did not go through because of the failed physical. Well, it turns out that John 3:16, passage from there, got replaced by Max Crosby, and it is Steve Austin's promo where he debuted the now very famous Austin 3:16. And as he's reading it, and he's like, you can thump your Bible and say your Psalms, and John 3:16. Austin 3:16 just says I whooped your fanny, because he doesn't cuss. And Sean Payton is just laughing his ass off. And then something weird starts to happen. He starts to melt away, because Max Crosby isn't the only one who pulled, or Max Crosby didn't pull a prank just on Fernando. He pulled one on everybody that had a bong in the stadium.
Uh-oh.
That bong, unbeknownst to Sean Payton, had holy water in it. So there are some holy water fumes, vapors going in there into Sean Payton. It just took a while. And Sean Payton starts to melt away, and you just see him dissolve onto the turf. Fernando Mendoza, shocked, like, my exorcism worked. I can't believe it. Coach, did you see that? He's like, quick, go get Jared Stidham. He could infect Jared's body. And sure enough, Jared's body does in fact get possessed by the demonic Sean Payton. And he's like, Fernando, throw the Bible at him. And Fernando just drops back, pump fakes, lets one go, and with perfect precision and touch, hits the temple of the possessed Jarrett Stidham, killing him. And in turn, trapping the soul of Sean Payton in a dead body. And then Clint Kubiak pours the rest of the bong water on there, effectively, completely exorcising Sean Payton. And it looks like we're going to need Bethke to break the tie.
I'm on it. We'll get that
Because
done.
I refuse to give Sean Payton a win.
Funny that you use Leviticus because it's like the only things I remember from that book are like instructions on how to sacrifice or what people should or shouldn't be stoned to death. So it kind of plays. I had to look it up because I couldn't remember like what the purpose of the whole book was, but it's mostly just God giving Moses instructions.
Well, there you go. He gave Fernando Mendoza instructions.
So I'm to be told there's some debate between Clint Kubiak and Fernando Mendoza in a fight against Sean Payton and Jarrett Stidham? I guess that makes sense, actually. I don't know anything about Clint Kubiak, first of all. I honestly, the only thing that comes to mind when I hear Kubiak is, did the dad pass away and I can't remember? I don't know. If he did, RIP. Remember he got the Peyton Super Bowl with the Broncos. That was pretty sick. Coached the Texans for a lot of shitty years where I had to watch them because it was either Houston or Dallas games. Respect to the family. Fernando Mania is going to take over the Raider community, which is beautiful for folks around the world and here in Los Angeles. Probably going to take a sec, though. And if it's going to happen that way, it's going to be just as corny as Tom Brady. And Brady, you might take in a fight, but that's because Brady's a cheater. He's ruthless. Fernando, he's going to beat you with resilient nice. He's never going to stop. He's going to keep on coming. So it really makes me think that this is a good tandem for the future, but for the now, we're talking about Sean Payton and Jarrett Stidham, okay? We're talking about Sean Payton, man who had Doug from freaking King of Queens playing him on TV once, and also had a defensive coordinator who was putting bounties on players' heads, destroyed Brett Favre. Well, that one might have aged well, but poor Vikings fans outside of the Favre of it all. And kind of has a reputation of being a bit of a fuckboy, even though I know we mostly just make fun of him for hitting a bong, potentially, allegedly. Feels like there's some cunning, there's some links as well, been in New Orleans a while. Now he's got rich Denver money. I don't know, man. Maybe there's a little bit you got to take into that. And then Stidham's an interesting one because he was at Baylor and Auburn, and then was with the Patriots under Belichick. So he's got like great connections in the hitman department. Like he knows to call a guy to call a guy to call a guy. For that reason, I think there's no other choice but Sean Payton and Jarrett Stidham.
Oh, that was good. All right. Now, what do we got left? We got Big Red Machine, Andy Reid, Jim Harbaugh. Oh, and my gosh. One of my favorite projects in the NFL against a project in the NFL, I guess. All right. You could call these guys both busts from the same draft class because you would not be wrong. Matter of fact, that is interesting.
Does Trey Lance get to count as a bust if he just never had a job?
Yes, he does count as a bust. He was taking 3 overall.
Yeah, fair.
That's
maybe even worse than a bust, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, that he is a super bust if there's ever been one. Which bad situation to land in San Francisco with Kyle Shanahan. This is just an aside here. Kyle Shanahan doesn't like quarterbacks that you need to mold into something. They're like, he just wants them to, he just wants to plug and play, really. So anyway, then you have Justin Fields, you have Trey Lance, you have some very athletic, really big QBs in this one. To pair with their very elderly elderly QBs or no coaches rather. Now, Big Red, he's a huge guy. Okay, so he's a hefty fella. He's got a lot of girth and tonnage, if you will. But Jim's got those crazy eyes. All right, he's an insane human being. So something has to give. Will the backup quarterbacks, who are their tag team partners, be the difference in this matchup? There's only one way to find out. Patrick, since you've started the fights in each round or in each one, you might as well just finish it off here with starting
yeah.
things off.
All right. I like to look at them while I do it. That helps me. Okay. So, imagine this is like basically like okay, here we go. Here's the full situation. Now I got it. So this year the NFL is using new like third-party water boys. They're NFL employees. They don't work for any team. They're just NFL employees. And this is some lore that I'm inventing on the fly. That's why a lot of these fights happen, is that they spike the water with different things to see what'll happen in these fights. So this one, they're experimenting with something new. They're like, all right, I've been smoking a lot of pot and playing Super Smash Bros. I really want to see if we can make something happen like that with these coaches. So when they get ready to fight, they're starting to feel a little weird. And Justin Fields and Trey Lance, they both basically get like Sonic the Hedgehog, just like bouncing around everywhere. Like they're just flying around the stadium chasing after each other. You can't, like, even like, if it's animated, if it's a movie, you can't see what's happening. These are just balls of light bouncing around in circles around the whole stadium for most of this fight. And so Reed and Harbaugh are going to face off at midfield. And it's one of those things where, like, all of a sudden, like, the center of the field where the team logo is lifts up above the ground, and now that's the fighting stage for them. And Harbaugh, they're the Chargers, so he's gonna get some lightning, like Pikachu-like powers. He can shoot little blasts of lightning at you. He can call one big one down. But Andy Reid, you might think he's gonna get something like Bowser. No, Andy Reid's getting Kirby-like powers. Andy Reid can float, he can hover, and he can drop down like a hammer. And so it's a lot of fun, Harbaugh's trying to just keep his distance with the lightning. He doesn't want Reed to get close. If Reed gets close, it's over. And again, in the background, you just got these two, one red, one light blue light, just bouncing around. You can't tell what the fuck's going on with those two. You're just figuring eventually one of them will show up, and then we'll deal with that when we get there. And Reed and Harbaugh, they're trading licks. They're getting some basic punches in. They're kind of getting to use some of their powers. Reed's hit him with a couple of those wooden hammers. Harbaugh's hit him with a couple of the down B full strike lightnings. It's been a pretty even match so far. But eventually Andy Reid's like, I'm kind of tired of this. And he does the thing where you hold B and Kirby just sucks up, and he just inhales Harbaugh. And then he jumps off the edge and then drops him and floats back. So Harbaugh's going to fall to his death. He's over. You can't stop when someone can time that Kirby move just right. You're fucked. You absolutely can, but Harbaugh won't. So Andy Reid's just kind of sitting there watching these balls of light fly around him, and he's trying to figure out, who am I gonna have to, am I gonna have to fight Trey Lance, or is Justin just gonna take care of this for me? And both of them land back on this middle piece, just tired, exhausted. They can't move. They can't breathe. So Andy Reid just grabs Trey Lance by the hand and slowly drags him to the edge and drops him off to join his coach in the pit of despair.
All right. That is... God, okay, that was good. Fuck. All right, well, let's see if I can come up with a scenario that is just as wacky and intense as this one was. All right. So in this case, we're going to have Justin Fields. We're going to have Trey Lance. And in this world, they're known as two of the most athletic quarterbacks of their draft class. Probably still are two of the most athletic guys in the NFL, known for their long speed as runners, strong arms. And so I think about this, I'm like, Justin Fields, he's so goddamn fast. He's just unbelievable. And you have Trey Lance, he's not as fast, but still he can move. So imagine it's like the Flash versus Quicksilver. All right. Quicksilver, not as fast as the Flash. And in this case, Justin Fields is the Flash and Trey Lance is Quicksilver. But as a matter of fact, I want to do you one even better. Instead of the actual Flash, this Justin Fields, he has a vendetta. All right. He's been begging for somebody to just believe in him. And nobody has. Nobody has. Not even Andy Reid. I mean, how could he? He has Patrick Mahomes. Right? So Justin Fields, instead of being the Flash, he's the reverse Flash. He's evil. He does terrible things. And so what is he doing here? Well, you'll find out. Because you have Andy Reid. He's, big old guy with a big gut. Kind of, he's really like a walrus. And if Santa Claus and a football coach got combined into one living thing, that is Andy Reid. And then Jim Harbaugh, he's like if you took the personification of insomnia and made him know how to coach football, but like wears out his welcome everywhere he's been. That is him, right? These two, they don't really have powers like that. Except Andy Reid has gone through secret modifications. Yes. He's gone through secret modifications. He can now morph his mouth to look like that of a walrus. But with the big tusks. The big walrus tusks. They have tusks, right? Yeah. And Jim Harbaugh, well, all he can really do is not really feel pain. So Jim Harbaugh looks at Andy. He's like, Andy, you fat fucking shit. Who told you that chicken was a good bird? And Andy's like, what? Hold on, what? Bird? I'm having a hamburger. I'm having a cheeseburger right now. Jim, what's gone into you? Ah! And then you just see a real slow just run, kind of like a jaunt, over there to Andy. And so this is happening on one side, and then you have Justin Fields looking over at Trey Lance. Trey Lance, it's like, hey, both of our careers didn't go out like the way we wanted it to, huh? Still got taken over you. Justin Fields, not going to let that shit slide. He's like, all right, fight me about it. He's like, I'll do you one better. I'll race you about it. Boom! And then you see our two speedsters running side by side as fast as they can, breaking the sound barrier. And you just see some shit talking coming from both sides. One calling the other one trash. And Justin Fields is like, at least I've had moments. You ain't even had that in the league. And Trevor's just like, fuck you. You just see punches as they're running. Just bah, 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 bah. And to the average human eye, you just hear these booms. Winds just swirling around in the stadium. And then you go back and you see what the coaches are doing. And Jim is still running. He is still like a light jog, but a crazed look, right? At this point, it's kind of like a power walk, like just like that. And Andy, finishing his cheeseburger, is like, Jim, you're gonna make me do this. You're not gonna let me finish my meal, and you won't like what happens. And then you just see this contortion, this just morphing on the face of Andy Reid, and these tusks start to come out. His mustache just becomes whiskers. And he just looks a little bit like this if this had a giant tusks. But it's just his head, right? He's like, I'm sorry, Jim. And Jim's like, I ain't scared of pain. And he just goes for a punch. And one tusk, boom, penetrates the forearm of Jim Harbaugh's Jim Harbaugh's like, I still have another good arm. And he's trying with all his might. And poor Andy Reid, he's so torn about what he has to do. He's like, oh, don't make me do this, Jim. He's just taking these punches. And then Andy Reid hears what sounds like a whistle for his next cheeseburger. And he turns around. The tusk is still through the arm of Jim Harbaugh. Yes. And that rips his arm clean off. Jim is like, let's get it on. He grabs his arm from the tusk and starts using it to wail on poor Andy Reid, who is just conflicted. He doesn't want to fight. He just wants to enjoy a great double patted cheeseburger with some bacon. Hold the mustard. No. He seems like a mustard guy. Hold the tomatoes. I feel like he doesn't like tomatoes. All right. And then we cut back to our speedsters who are still just running in circles. And Justin Fields is like, I'm tired of playing with you. And Trey Lance is like, what are you talking about? You're not that much faster than me. He's like, oh, bet. And because he is the reverse Flash, he actually runs the opposite way, stops on a dime, turns the opposite way, going almost 3 times as fast as our Quicksilver Trey Lance here, and just runs right through him. Runs right through the guy. And Trey Lance has been obliterated. He's dead. He's gone. So just like his career, he's dead. And Justin Fields just looks with a solemn look over at his coach. And he looks at Patrick Mahomes like, oh, could be worse. I could still be in Pittsburgh. And then starts to slow down. And he looks at Jim. And he's like, all right, coach, I'll do you this one favor. And then what to us might be a blink of an eye, to him, an eternity. Because time moves differently when you're a speedster. He goes over, Justin Fields punches Jim Harbaugh with a light tap, but because of the speed that he is going at, that just like blows his shit smooth off, as the kids like to say. And Jim Harbaugh's been beheaded. Andy Reid is our winner. Our king, if you will. Our Burger King.
He went through quite a transformation in this fight.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, Andy Reid, a unanimous winner.
Let's get the one that I think is the least interesting out of the way. Jags versus Titans.
Boom.
Because I look at this and I already forgot who these quarterbacks are because that's how plain looking they look. I know one is Will Levis, right? And I know that's Robert Saleh. But then I look at the Jags and I'm like, Liam Cohen and Nick Mullins? Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm gonna this one I'll lead this one off, Patrick. I'll lead this one off. You see Robert Saleh's bald head? Do you see it? Do you see the jacked arms on Will Levis? And then you look at Liam Cohen and Nick Mullins. If you don't remember, audience at home, the interaction, the last time these two guys interacted, Liam Cohen and Robert Saleh got in his fucking face, right? I think call him an asshole or something, but you could just tell Robert Saleh was seeing red. He wanted Liam Cohen's blood on his hands. And that's just what he's going to get here in the Fight Club. Because as the Jacksonville Jaguars walk away with a victory late in the season against the Tennessee Titans, Robert Solid wastes no time. He makes a beeline towards Liam Cohen, and he uses that shiny bald head of his as a battering ram and punctures a hole in the chest of Liam Cohen and strangles him, despite the fact that Liam Cohen's heart is on top of Solid's bald head. Will Levis sees Nick Mullins trying to make a beeline to try to save his frankly already dead head coach, uses those tremendous biceps to have him in a headlock. But because this is Will Levis, they kind of stumble all over the place. And like he meant to restrain Nick Mullins. He accidentally kills Nick Mullins by snapping his neck. And then he does the surrender cobra in agony. Just like, I didn't mean to kill him. And that is how the Titans speed blitzed the Jags in what is just not an interesting fight between Liam Cohen and Robert Saul. Look at him. Saul already looks like he wants to kill Liam Cohen. That's probably not even directed at Cohen right now.
Yeah. Honestly, there's not both. It seems like both the coach and the quarterback for the Titans just have the clear advantage here. And unfortunately, I don't think Liam Cohen's non-generic enough for me to come up with something fun for him. And Nick Mullins just looks like a Madden created, automated generated rookie or whatever.
He looks like a car salesman. He really does.
Probably a great guy.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think this Fight Club is for him. And pretty quickly, I think we can just go ahead and say the Titans are just going to move on with this one because, yeah, this ain't it, Jags.
This ain't it. You got your ass handed to you in the Fight Club.
Hoodie, zip up. I don't like that at all.
Yeah. No, not at all.
So yeah, in my world, that's just a straight beat down. Just like they just walk across midfield to each other, and it's just over within a few swings. Because yeah.
All right, let's keep things in the AFC South. We have the Houston Texans going against the Indianapolis Colts. Let's look what we got here. Oh, Shane Steichen and AR-15. Oh, and then you have Davis Mills, D'Amico Ryans. D'Amico Ryans has been a very respectable opponent here, and it's clear by looking at this, there might be an advantage in the coaching department. What about the QB department? Well, for those of you who have no idea how big Davis Mills is, he's actually, I think, an inch taller than Anthony Richardson. I believe Davis Mills is listed at 6'6", if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, sorry, I can go with that.
Let me see. Davis Mills. I know he's a tall son of a bitch. I know that. He's 6'4".
4, yeah. That's what he's listed. So
and you know he looks every bit of it. If you ever watch him play, he does genuinely look every bit 6'4". And then you have Anthony Richardson, who's also 6'4". So these guys, same height, right? The listed weight for Davis Mills, I don't see his weight.
I got it at 225.
All right, so Anthony Richardson has him beat in the weight department. So in this one, you look at it, and we've talked about this. I've talked about this. Anthony Richardson is built like a Greek god. He is genuinely a freak of nature quarterback, right? But then you go up against, well, a guy who looks like he was maybe chiseled in Rome. You know, not exactly a Greek god, not exactly a slouch either. So it's a copy, if you will. As we all know, Roman mythology is just ripping off Greek mythology. Davis Mills is ripping off what a prototypical quarterback is supposed to look like. So, what does that mean for the fight? This is what it means. I look at D'Amico Ryans. I look at Shane Steichen. That's easy. All right. So in this scenario, we got these guys facing off, square middle of the field. D'Amico Ryans quite easily handles Shane Steichen. I mean, one good shoulder tackle puts his head right into Shane Steichen's chest. Shane Steichen explodes on impact, kind of dying on the field. D'Amico Ryans rips his shirt off, screams in the air like he's back in his playing days. And then you just see Davis Mills like, oh shit, I gotta follow that up. And then you have AR-15. And then you know what he does? AR-15 runs really fucking fast, full steam ahead, right at both of these guys, launches himself right at them. And like his passes, they go really, really fast, but they miss their target more than 50% of the time. He misses and flies into the bench area, hurting himself. And then D'Amico Ryans and Davis Mills dogpile on top of AR-15, who, if he had a more competent coach and any motivation to help his coach, who has benched him, maybe they would advance further in the Fight Club. But in my scenario, D'Amico Ryans does the heavy lifting here. And the Texans get a nice, clean victory. Patrick, what say you?
Yeah, I think, we already talked about the difference in the quarterbacks not being just a ton physically speaking. So I think that's kind of a push there. So this really does become, does Shane Steichen have any kind of answer for the pure rage of D'Amico Ryans? And I think the answer pretty quickly becomes no. I just can't imagine what Steichen would have up his sleeve. He's seemingly a mediocre NFL head coach. I haven't heard of him having any like secret MMA training or anything. I don't know that he's going to be able to hold up in any kind of physical contest against D'Amico Ryans for any reason.
And with that,
fair.
That's it. That's we move along. The South was pretty easy. It was a wash, but maybe we'll get some more entertainment when we get to the Bengals versus the Ravens. Zach Taylor with is he Joe Flacco still around?
Joe Flacco.
He is still kicking, huh? And then you have the new guy over with Baltimore, Jesse Minter.
Yeah, which the text to speech thought was just Jess Minter.
Jess Minter was that's kind of funny.
I added some extra vowels. I should have known that.
And then who's the backup?
Oh, that's Nick Huntley.
Nick Huntley, not Tyler Huntley.
Wait, it is a Huntley.
Snoop Huntley.
Is that really?
Snoop Huntley. Did he change his name to Snoop Huntley? All right. Well, Tyler, we're going to call you Tyler Huntley because no, you are not good enough to be called Snoop Huntley. What the fuck is that?
Nickname Snoop. He played college football for the Utah Utes.
Literally never heard him get called Snoop. And he also has one of the most fraudulent Pro Bowl selections of all time. Probably the most fraudulent Pro Bowl selection of all time. And so here we go. How does this play out? Look at Jesse Minter. He looks like he's 160 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah, so one of his high school coaches thought that his skinny build and long hair made him look like Snoop Dogg.
I didn't even realize he had long hair back in the day. All right. And then you look at Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor looks like he's had a little bit too much Skyline chili. He's kind of morphing into Mike McCarthy. So I look at this and I'm like, all right, well, this is a good old fashioned fisticuffs. I imagine it's not going to be that great of a viewing watch if you're looking for a nice, clean fight or a nice, entertaining fight. But it might be entertaining in a different sort of a way. You look at the quarterbacks, Joe Flacco is a full 6 inches taller than Tyler Huntley. So how do we go about this? This is how I think this plays out, Patrick. On one end of the field, you have Joe Flacco. Yes, he is old, statuesque. But Tyler Huntley is young, still trying to prove himself. Yeah, he has a Pro Bowl, but it doesn't really mean anything because it's not a real Pro Bowl. Like they gave you oh shit, you're Lamar's backup. Maybe you're good. They realized quickly he's not. So they threw that at him, and he has this chip on his shoulder, and he's like, "Yeah, oh man, what you gonna do? What you gonna do?" Flashy feet, boom, boom, boom. And then as he goes to approach Joe Flacco with a punch, Joe Flacco sticks his long arm out, palms it right on Tyler Huntley's face, and then this is what you have right here. Just this. And then with his other free arm, Joe Flacco pulls him in, bah, right in the kisser. And then over there, you look at Zach Taylor and you look at Jesse Minter, and they're giving a good old fist cuffs. Wah, wah, wah. But it's kind of sloppy. They're all kind of just missing each other's punches. They're both kind of out of breath. You look Zach Taylor, though. He looks like he'd be out of breath faster. But Jesse Minter looks like he can't take that many hits, right? So he's going to wear out just as quickly as he gets started. And Joe Flacco just looks at his pathetic head coach and Jesse Minter kind of both running out of steam. And Joe Flacco decides he's going to take this into matters into his own hands. He grabs a football. He launches this ball 100 miles an hour right at Jesse Minter's nutsack. The nutsack explodes. Zach Taylor takes this moment to land the finishing blow. Bah! Knocking Jesse Minter right out.
So I feel like this matchup will be even better.
I'm sorry, did that start playing?
You're good. But yeah, I have Zach Taylor and Joe Flacco beating Tyler Huntley and Jesse Minter in this one.
Very good. My apologies about the interruption there. I didn't realize that was going to play back through. Yeah. But I want to pull up the little picture again. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Bam. There we go. Yeah, man. So this is gonna be a fun one, I think. Zach Taylor's kind of like, he's like, I'm not messing around. He's like, I'm just gonna get on in there, can go straight up. But he can't find Jesse Minter. And he's like, God damn it. And he sees Tyler Huntley just standing there waiting for Joe Flacco. He's like, Snoop, where's Jesse? And Tyler Huntley just kind of like, not really like happy about it, not trying to be intimidating. He just kind of like shrugs his shoulders and points to the tunnel where there's kind of like smoke and fog coming out. So Zach Taylor walks through the tunnel, and it's just the thick cloud of smoke. Can't see anything in front of him. And then suddenly all the smoke just kind of vacuums out at once with kind of a just quick, and he's in like a mirror maze. And you can just hear this voice being like, "Can you find me?" And Zach Taylor's like, what the fuck is going on? Meanwhile, on the field, Huntley standing there, and he's kind of just like jogging in place, limbering up, just kind of waiting. When out of nowhere, he sees a shadow, kind of like, like when there's something above you moving in the sky, like you're not sure where it's coming from, but you see something. And all of a sudden, a football in a perfect spiral lands and penetrates about 3 inches into the ground, about less than a foot from where Huntley's standing. And he's like, that's weird. And then suddenly the sky gets dark, and he looks up, and there's hundreds of footballs about to come down on him. And he starts to run, and he's juking. And they're just crashing everywhere. All of them going like half a football deep into the turf. They're coming down hard. And he makes it about 15, 20 yards before one of those just clean through the back of his head. And outside the stadium, Joe Flacco wraps some ice around his arm. and walks back inside to see if Coach needs help. Back in the mirror maze, Zach Taylor seeing a lot of himself, and then just every once in a while flashes. So he just keeps following these like flashes of something, because it's the only thing that's not him. So it's the only thing he can follow basically in this maze. You can't find me. And he's still really confused because it's not like, obviously it's not a scary voice. It's not a funny voice. It's just a weird voice. And it just repeats every so often until eventually he comes through a tunnel of mirrors, and now he's in it's like a fully circular mirror room around him. Obviously he entered at one spot, so there's like a spot there where he entered, and it seems like there's a spot on the other side. So he's thinking this must be the center. This must be what I'm supposed to do here. And then from the other side, Joe Flacco walks in carrying Jesse Minter's dead body, throws it on the ground before his coach, and says, "Who's next?"
Jesus. All right. Well,
I painted myself into some corners that I had to get out of, but I think I kind of did it.
so where? Okay. Before we go on to our final fight, what are we looking? What are we looking?
Football so hard that they were arcing over the outside of the stadium, coming back in.
The ridiculousness of that is not lost on me. I actually appreciate it quite a bit. I like the crazier the bit.
It seemed I could see the anime version of it happening.
Now I want to know, where does this leave Zach Taylor? Because I feel like he's been winless up until this point.
We can get into these standings now, or we can hit them all on the fight.
Let's hit him at the end. Yeah. You're right. That's how we should look at it. Because now,
sure, I get the information in there.
We'll while you get that information in, I'll buy you some time here because we're looking. Oh, we are looking at quite a matchup here. The one on the left is the funniest looking bunch. Woo! There you go. Long day. Mason Rudolph with a white trash mustache. Like, he looks like he'd be the villain of a 1980s.
I was gonna say, that's like maybe one of the most like late 80s, early 90s looks I've ever seen. It's awesome.
Yeah, and too bad he kind of sucks.
There's definitely a football sitcom with him and McCarthy.
For sure. Oh, for sure. Just don't. You're just not gonna expect to see Mason Rudolph in the good graces of the African American community, allegedly, based on some things that caused him to get hit in the head by Myles Garrett. Now, Mike McCarthy, look at that guy. He looked like Santa. He's kind of looking, maybe not Santa. He's looking. You know what he looks like? He looks like the Michelin Man has been through some stuff. He
just looks like Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he is the embodiment of Pittsburgh. A little overweight means well. Still mildly disappointing, but you know what you're gonna get anyway, and it could be worse. It could always be worse. And then you look at Cleveland. You got Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders looks like he's posing for like a fucking fashion magazine, but he's in his training camp gear. And then fuck face, what's his name? Their head coach. No, not Bruce.
You got this. Todd.
Hold on. Todd Monken. That's right.
Yeah.
Todd Monken, who I wanted as the Eagles OC, mind you. But that's neither here nor there. He looks like a Bruce, though, when you look at his face. He doesn't look like a Todd. I feel like Todd is a name for, just as an aside, it's a young man's name. The older you get, you should have something else.
If I remember correctly, when I was looking at pictures of him, he looks very different depending on what the picture is. Like, there's a lot of different looks for Todd Monken. I'll just say that.
Understandable. He's a man of many faces, a man of many jobs. No, the glasses and the hat don't help. But anyway, so I look at this and listen. Todd Monken's an old man, older man. Actually, I don't think he's that much older than McCarthy. If I'm not mistaken, Mike McCarthy is quickly approaching his 60s. Todd Monken is 60. Mike McCarthy 62.
Yeah.
I would never have guessed. Wow. Life has not been kind to Todd Monken then, because he looks like he's 70. Compared to Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy has an unhealthy diet and has a much younger looking face despite the white beard. But yeah, listen, you look at this, Mason Rudolph, he's a tank, okay? Not saying he's a big guy, but he took a helmet full force swing from Myles Garrett to the head for allegedly saying something incredibly racist and came back the other side. Not a better man or a better quarterback. He came out alive, and that's a win. So I look at this in this fight to the death, if you will. I don't think Shedeur Sanders is built like that. Yeah, he took a beating at Colorado, but it was college football, all right? The hits weren't as bad. It was the Pac-12, Big 12. Not exactly. Sorry, not exactly. The most picturesque, or not the most how do you call it? Ideal version of physical football that you get in college football, right? So I look at this. I look at Todd Monken. Todd Monken gets squished by Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy falls on top of Todd Monken and suffocates him with his large gut until there's no air left in Todd Monken's body. I look at Rudolph. I look at that mustache. I look at Shedeur Sanders, and I'm like, yep, the power of hate really fills through the blood of Mason Rudolph, and he, in some weird poetic justice kind of a way, maybe not justice, some weird form of poetic irony, he takes his helmet, full force swings it at Shedeur Sanders, knocking Shedeur out. He gets carted off, puts into like a Lamborghini ambulance, while Todd Monken just kind of gets carried off on a stretcher and thrown into the back of the dog pound there in Cleveland. And that is, yeah, and that is it. That is how the cookie crumbles with the Steelers going up against the Browns.
Yeah. This is a situation where I think we kind of saved one of the more obvious fights for last for the first round, but that's okay because it's kind of, I think, would still be a very entertaining one, where it starts with, Shedeur's taking selfies. He's like live streaming himself, hanging out, glasses on, doing his dad's bit, and Mason Rudolph just blindsides him, much like he wished he could have done to Myles Garrett on that night. And helmet to the head, Mason Rudolph just one shots Shedeur Sanders. The crowd in Pittsburgh goes wild. They are loving this. This is a full 100,000 seat. Everyone's around watching. And then McCarthy and Monken are in the middle of the field, and Monken kind of looks in shock. He's kind of grossed out a bit. He's taken aback, and McCarthy just looks at him and goes, "First time, huh?" No. And he jumps 40 feet in the air and then basically cannonballs straight down on top of Todd Monken's head and squishes him down into like a millimeter high stack of dirt, carbon, and whatever else we're made out of. Probably all the liquids are out. Squished like a donut, like a jelly donut. So pretty quickly the Steelers walk through the first round. McCarthy is a veteran of this. He knows what to do. Monken's first year. Shedeur isn't paying attention to anything but himself, and that's that's a recipe for disaster in this Fight Club.
And there we have it. This was surprising whenever I was looking through the match. I was like, you know what? This doesn't feel like it's going to be as competitive as probably some of the other matchups we had in here. But I think going forward, some of these winners will.
We have to give everybody a shot, and then we get rid of the weak links, and now we got a top 16 that are pretty solid, I think.
I think so as well.
It's Head Coach Fight Club. Go on, muscle up. 32 and only one gets the dub. From the sideline to the tunnel to the field level club. There's a brawl in every corner, so you better square up. It's Head Coach Fight Club. I'm past the rock, hit the gym, not the showers. Be the cock of the walk. Whether we fighting on the field or the streets of Bangkok, may the best coach win, the rest outlined in chalk. Got the QB room for the tag team match. This is full throttle, ain't no fair catch. Year 4 of this shit, and we ain't looking back. 2026, who's the king of the pack? Head Coach Fight Club. Head Coach Fight Club. Head Coach Fight Club. Head Coach Fight Club.